Hey guys, it's Willing Away, and welcome back to another episode of Through the Parks. Today we're covering Kobuk Valley National Park. This one was exciting. I stumbled upon this one in my list of parks I still have to do, and I thought it was interesting, so I took a little peek at it, and I decided, yeah, this will be the park we focus on. Actually, both parks today and the next time I release one are both parks from Alaska. We're going to do Kobuk Valley today, and then on Tuesday will be Katmai, which is a really big park in Alaska. But Kobuk Valley is a relatively small park. There's not too much to cover, and I think that's about it. It's really small, so this will be a really short one, and I'm just going to get into it. Obviously, we're going to start off with the overall information, like always. So, Kobuk Valley National Park is located in Alaska. It's about 25 miles north of the Arctic Circle and has 1,750,716 acres, which is just slightly larger than Delaware. It was originally designated in 1980 by the Alaska National Interest Lands Conservation Act and was used to preserve 100 feet of high Great Kobuk sand dunes, and this includes caribou migration too, that was also preserved in the park. All visitors have to bring their own gear, whether that is backcountry camping, hiking, backpacking, boating, or dog sledding. Everything you have to bring on your own. There are no designated trails or roads that exist in the park, and it is one of the only 8 national parks in Alaska. So Alaska is the second state with the most national parks, only being surpassed by California, because California contains 9 different national parks. Since there's no roads, anyone who visits the national park has to take an air taxi, either from Nome, Beatles, or Kotzebue. Flights are available year-round, and they only go when the weather allows it. This park is also one of the least visited, following along with all the other parks that are inaccessible by road. These include Gates of the Arctic, Isle Royale, Dry Tortugas, which we covered, Katmai, and Lake Clark. All those parks you can't access by road, and so they kind of obviously have the least amount of visitors due to how hard it is to get there. And that's it. Now we're going to get into the very specifics. We'll be focusing on geography, and then we'll go to climate, ecology, and then finally our history. So, geography. This park is located in the center of an ecosystem, which is between Selawik National Wildlife Refuge and the Noatka National Preserve. It is over 75 miles by river to the Chukchi Sea. Another park, the Gates of the Arctic National Park and Preserve, lies 32 miles away to the east. The park includes 81,000 acres and is owned by native corporations and the state of Alaska. It contains a broad wetlands valley of the Kobuk River and runs along the southern edge of Brooks Range, also known as the Baird Mountains. The boundary of the park is along the height of land of the Baird Mountains and the shorter Waring Mountains that forms a ring which encloses the Kobuk Valley. 2/3 of the Kobuk River is in the park, from just above Keon to just below Ambler, Salmon River, and Hunt River. So the park contains the Kobuk River. Just above Keon to just below Ambler is all that is contained, and then Salmon River and Hunt River are also found within the park. The floor of the valley of the park is covered by glacial drift, and 174,545 acres of the southern portion of the park is managed as the Kobuk Valley Wilderness. The park contains over 3 sets of sand dunes, which are located south of the Kobuk River. These sand dunes are the Great Kobuk Sand Dunes, Little Kobuk Sand Dunes, and the Hunt River Dunes. They covered around 200,000 acres after the Pleistocene glaciation retreated. Deposits from these glaciers and very strong winds would create the fields, which are now covered by forest and tundra, and today the dunes only cover 20,500 acres, and the Great Kobuk Sand Dunes is considered the largest active Arctic dune in North America. The park's headquarters is located at Northwest Arctic Heritage Center in Kotzebue, which is 100 miles west of the Bering Sea coast. Seasonal ranger stations are along the Kobuk River from the west end to the east end of the park, and the visitor center is for the Cape Kruinstern National Monument and the Nootka National Preserve are considered the same facility, and this facility is managed together. It is known as just the Western Arctic National Parklands, and it only has one Park Service superintendent in charge. And that's it for geography. Now we go into the climate. So since this park is in Alaska, the climate covers a lot. There was a lot of research on the climate because you are up in Alaska. So Kobuk Valley National Park is a subarctic climate that is cool summers and year-round rain. The coldest month average for the climate is below 0 Celsius, and 1 to 3 months average above 10 Celsius, and all months average below 22 Celsius. And there's considered no rain difference between these seasons. In the park, the weather is subject to extremes. You may have average low temps in January, which are -8 Fahrenheit, while night times can reach -50 degrees Fahrenheit. Summer temps average 65 degrees Fahrenheit, and sometimes can reach 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Since the park is above what is called the Arctic Circle, the sun doesn't set from June 3rd to 9th, and 1.5 hours during the winter solstice, the sun is visible, but it does have long periods of twilight on either side of the sunrise and sunset. The aurora borealis can be viewed on winter nights with high solar activity, and snow is considered to be able to happen at any time, along with wind and rain being common in the summer. Now we're on to ecology, my favorite part personally. So since the park lies between what is considered a transition zone, this is between the boreal forest and tundra, most of the wildlife and fish are considered Arctic or subarctic. The major species in the park are caribou, moose, salmon, and sheefish. The animals that most people tend to see while they're there are the 400,000 caribou of the Western Arctic herd. This herd migrates from the winter breeding grounds in Warren Mountains to their summer calving grounds in North Barren Mountains. The herd has to cross the Kobuk River annually and is central to, I hope I pronounced this right, the Inupiaqua peoples for their subsistence hunting. Large animals that can be found in the park include wolf packs, Arctic and red foxes, caribou, moose, black bears, brown bears, beavers, river otters, Canadian lynxes, and Dall sheep. Small mammals that can be found in the park include wolverines, martens, minks, porcupines, muskrats, snowshoe hares, and voles. And then the fish species you can find include the Chinook, chum, pink, and sockeye salmon. Some more salmon breeds are the Dolly Varden, Arctic char, lake trout, and Arctic grayling. More fish species include your burbot, Arctic lamprey, round, brown, and humpback whitefish, and pond and rainbow smelt. And that is it for all the ecology and what animals you can find. We are now on our last section, the history. So, human habitation in the valley is believed to date back at least 12,500 years. The inhabitants of the valley are the Inupiat people who live on the hunting and fishing in the region. The Onion Portage Archaeological District is a National Historic Landmark, which is found on the east end of the Kobuk River. This site is located at a major caribou crossing and documents 9 different cultural complexes, which span from 8,000 to 6,000 BC to 1,000 to 1,700 AD. This site is owned by the NANA Regional Corporation, which is a Alaskan Native corporation with rights in the park. The first human inhabitants of the Kobuk Valley were people of the Paleo-Arctic tradition. They would hunt the caribou in the region at Onion Portage, and this region would be deserted for 2,000 years until the people of the Archaic tradition would appear. 4,000 years before present people of the Arctic small tool tradition would arrive, but they would eventually depart between 1,500 and 1,000 years ago, leaving the valley yet again unoccupied. Eventually, in 1280, new people would arrive, as documented by the Ahituit site, 25 miles downriver from Onion Portage. These people would remain in the valley till mid-19th century, when the caribou population would eventually die down and cause the people to move closer to the coast. These people were the Akunaramute and the Kuvam. Kongiamnut people. I'm probably mispronouncing that. I'm very sorry. One of the villages that is located in the park is found at the mouth of the Hunt River. Now the descendants known as Kuvangmeet, I'm probably pronouncing it really wrong. I'm so sorry. They have mostly left the park. In 1899 to 1900, 32 prospectors would eventually set up camp during the gold rush there. The people who are searching for these setups, these camps, have not yet located them, but debris of these miners' boats have been found, which suggests that they were there. In 1980, Kobuk Valley National Park would become one of the 15 new National Park Service properties, which was established by the Alaska National Interest Lands Conservation Act, or the ANILCA. On December 1st, 1978, it was declared a national monument by President Carter using the Antiquities Act, due to the ANILCA bill being stalled. ANILCA was eventually passed in 1980, and on December 2nd, 1980, it was signed by Carter. Kobuk Valley is a national park that is entirely only subsistence hunting by local residents, unlike most other Alaska parks. No part of this park is a national preserve, which would allow sports hunting, so sports hunting in the park is completely forbidden. And that's it for our history. Like I said, a relatively short one. There wasn't too much to go over, but interesting nonetheless. I like covering stuff in Alaska. Personally, I like winters. I like the cold. So covering this was definitely a fun one. I enjoyed researching it. But yeah, I was just going to keep it short tonight, and I will see you guys next time for Katmai. As always, until our next adventure, may your trails be filled with wanderlust, and I will see you guys in the parks. Goodbye!